Just a few weeks ago, I had a ton of fun playing around with the Ryzen 5 8600G, one of AMD's new CPUs that also happens to have a very capable GPU strapped to its back. In fact, I had so much fun with it that when AMD and PC Builder asked to sponsor this video taking a look at the 8600G's bigger and better brother, I jumped at the chance. So here we are. In today's video, I'll be putting the headliner of AMD's new APUs, the Ryzen 7 8700G, through its paces, showing that with one of these babies, you can definitely more than get by without a stupidly expensive graphics card. Oh, and I'll also be doing some memory testing with it, which I think you're all going to find very interesting. So let's get started. Now, with it being the big boss of the 8000G series family, the 8700G ships with the specs to match. It's an 8-core, 16-thread chip built on the same Zen 4 architecture as the desktop Ryzen 7000 series. It features a base and boost clock of 4.2 and 5.1 GHz respectively, has a default TDP of just 65 watts, making it extremely efficient, and a max operating temperature of 95 degrees C. But most of that's old news. What makes the 8700G so cool is that it features one of the best, if not the best iGPU or integrated graphics I've ever seen on a desktop APU. The 8000G series chips all come with Radeon 700M series graphics built in, and the 8700G sports the cream of the crop, the Radeon 780M, a GPU with 12 cores running at a blistering 2900 MHz. That's 100 MHz and 4 more cores than the 760M that ships with the 8600G, an APU that, as you'll remember, I was pretty dang impressed with already. So yeah, safe to say I'm expecting quite a lot from this bad boy. Something else that makes the 8600 and 8700G unique is that both feature an NPU, or neural processing unit, dedicated to enabling and speeding up AI applications. There's not a real use case for it right now as far as I can tell, but that will probably change as AI stuff gets more and more prevalent. As for downsides, just like I mentioned in my 8600G video, the 8700G also has a couple. The two most important being that it features half the L3 cache of the 7700X at 16 MB, which should result in a slight performance hit, and the use of PCIe 4.0 instead of 5.0, along with 16 usable lanes instead of 24, like on the 7700X. I don't see either of those as deal breakers, but they're worth keeping in mind. Something far more likely to be a deal breaker is price, since the 8700G will set you back $329 or 8,200 Rand here in South Africa. That's certainly not cheap as far as CPUs go, putting it ahead of the 7700X by more than 25 bucks. But just like the 8600G, the 8700G's value lies in that iGPU, potentially eliminating the need for a GPU almost entirely, depending on your needs. And while we're at it, AMD's decision to bundle the chip with their impressive little Wraith Spire cooler should definitely sweeten the deal by a lot too. But whether or not it's worth the asking price will depend on if it can actually deliver on the performance I'm expecting from it. And judging by the fact that I wasted 2 hours playing Cyberpunk with it instead of working on this video like I should have been, I'd say it delivers pretty friggin' well. Now before we dive into the numbers, let's take a quick look at the system we'll be using. Along with helping you put together a sick gaming system of your own, step by step, PC Builder also sells their own pre-built systems like the one we're messing around with today. At the heart of the system is the 8700G topped with the Wraith Spire cooler I gushed about earlier. The chip is slotted into MSI's Pro A620ME motherboard, a solid, trimmed fat budget board with all the power and features you need, equipped with 16 gigs of Crucial's DDR5 running at 4800 MHz CL40. That's probably not the best kit for an APU like the 8700G, as we'll see in just a bit, but it's cheap and will get the job done. And helping to get the job done is a speedy little budget M.2 SSD in the form of the Patriot P300, and Antec's Atom V350 power supply, which should more than handle everything this system can throw at it. And finally, housing all that budget goodness is the PC Builder Fortress ATX chassis, a high airflow chassis with a tempered glass side panel that just oozes build quality and honestly looks pretty dang slick. The case also came equipped with 4 of PC Builder's Tempest chill fans, super overkill for a system like this, but I'm definitely not complaining. Alright, let's get into it. To test the CPU part of the CPU, I fired up some productivity benchmarks starting with the Cinebench drag race, and things got pretty interesting pretty quick. Along with showing that an 8-core part is much better for productivity tasks than a 6-core, I was surprised at how close the 8700G came to matching the 7800X3D in both multi- and single-core performance. Something it wasn't quite able to do in the Blender or 7-zip benchmarks, with it landing just shy of presenting its 7000 series brother with real competition. The difference in performance here is probably exaggerated a bit considering that the X3D was run on water cooling, allowing it to boost higher during these longer duration benchmarks. Okay, that's cool and all, but we're really here to see what that 780M can do. So let's switch to gaming numbers. And sheesh, if our synthetic benchmarks are anything to go by, which they usually are, the 8700G is set to impress. Not only did it come out on top, but it did so by a pretty big margin, while also showing just how much of an upgrade these two APUs are over the 7800X3D's integrated graphics. And things get even nuttier moving to real games. Just like in the 8600G video, we're kicking things off with competitive titles, including Valorant, Rocket League, and Fortnite. And we're definitely starting off strong with the 8700G almost grabbing a 50% advantage over the 8600G in Valorant. Its lead drops significantly in Rocket League, only managing a 14% win there, but jumps back up to a 28% lead in Fortnite, where it also proved to be much more stable as shown in the 1% FPS numbers. Now, as we found out last time, these new APUs aren't just good for easier to run competitive titles. They're also not half bad when it comes to more demanding, prettier games. And that's definitely the case this time too, but even better. Like last time, the gorgeous Lies of P didn't present too much of a challenge for the two new APUs, but this time the 8700G actually managed to blow past the 60 FPS barrier, making the game more than playable. And playable is the key word here in Cyberpunk, Palworld, Baldur's Gate 3, and The Witcher 3. In all but The Witcher 3, the 8700G managed an average FPS of around 50, along with very stable 1% low numbers, very rarely dropping below 30 FPS. That might not be all that impressive to anyone who thinks 60 FPS is the minimum for playability, but in these titles, I personally consider a stable 50 FPS to not only be playable, but downright enjoyable. Even with lower settings and FSR running, these titles still looked great and played like a dream. Even The Witcher 3, which again proved to be a real pain to run on anything but the highest end hardware. Okay, now because APUs are especially sensitive to system memory, the iGPU doesn't have dedicated VRAM after all, I figured it would probably be a good idea to see what the 8700G can do with a faster kit of RAM. So I tossed in a kit of DDR5 running at 6200 MHz with CL32 timings, and man, I'm glad I did. After the switch, the 8700G improved on its scores in superposition and time spy by a whopping 19 and 36% respectively, which should bode pretty well for our actual gaming benchmarks, right? Well, yes it does. It bodes very well indeed, because there's not a single title that saw less than a 21% increase in average FPS, with the lowest improvement coming from The Witcher 3, Palworld, Cyberpunk, and Rocket League, all landing somewhere between a 21 and 26% uplift. That would be impressive all on its own, but those are just the lowest performers. The rest of the titles also increases between 34% in Valorant and a massive 49% in Fortnite. I mean, I knew memory was a pretty big deal when it comes to APUs, but I really didn't think we'd see this much of a difference. Anyway, getting back to it, after all of that testing, the 8700G only hit a max gaming temp of 81 degrees C, really low when taking the boosting behavior of the chip into account. That Wraith Spire cooler is a workhorse, and those 4K fans didn't exactly do nothing either. During testing, the chip maxed out at just 86 watts with a max core clock of 5.1 GHz and an all-core max clock of 4.6 GHz. Really impressive stuff. Now, unlike the 8600G, I was actually expecting quite a bit from the 8700G, having already had a taste of dang decent APU performance. And I wasn't disappointed. This really is a very impressive chip all around, as long as you're buying it for the right reasons. Just like with the 8600G, you should not be buying the 8700G if you already have a good graphics card or plan to buy one in the very near future. You shouldn't be buying these APUs because they're the best bang for the buck gaming options, because they're not. With the full system cost taken into account, you can put together an older generation system with low-end dedicated graphics that'll net you better gaming performance than the 8700G for around the same price point. Now, just like I said in my 8600G video, you should be looking at the 8700 or 8600G as one of the cheapest and best tickets into the already impressive current gen Ryzen ecosystem. If you're putting together a new rig, it's probably the best option right now, considering that AM5 is a brand new platform that promises long-term, worthwhile upgrade paths for years to come. The 8700G also offers an amazing stopgap for gamers who want to game right now while they save up for something great down the line, or for retro or emulation gamers who don't need anything all that flashy and want to save a buck. Or, and this one counts especially for the 8700G thanks to its high core count, creators, streamers, or professionals on a budget who also happen to do some gaming on the side. Or even for small form factor enthusiasts who want to cram the most performance possible into the smallest, most efficient, and coolest systems possible. There really is a ton of power and versatility to be had with a chip like this, and I can't wait to see it in more of your creative builds. And yeah, that wraps it up for this one. Big thanks to AMD and PC Builder for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check out the links in the description to learn more about the 8000G series or to buy or build your very own PC Builder rig. Alright, like if you liked it, subscribe if you wanna, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.